Do you remember the Disney Afternoon? It was a block of television that featured 4 different Disney animated TV series. In the picture here, you see the Gummi Bears, there's Chip 'n Dale's Rescue Rangers, there's DuckTales, and TaleSpin. And it was a thrill to be working at Disney TV Animation during these days. This is one of the signs that actually hung on a lamppost on Main Street in Disneyland during that special event. Now, I love taking pictures, and I have a whole bunch of pictures that I took during the Disney Afternoon Live, so I want to show those to you over here. First of all, here's a picture of the sign when it was hanging up on Main Street. There were signs on all the lampposts all the way down the street. This is the sign that you would see as you passed under the bridge entering Disneyland. Most of the Disney Afternoon festivities took place in the back of the park. A couple of the attractions were re-themed for the event. The Autopia became Rescue Rangers Raceway, and the motorboat cruise became the motorboat cruise to Gummi Glen. It was a temporary makeover, mainly with signs and some new audio added. The biggest part of the Disney Afternoon Live was Afternoon Avenue. I had the opportunity to go and take photos while they were still constructing Afternoon Avenue, so a lot of the photos are when it was still under construction, but you'll get a great idea of what it looked like. Afternoon Avenue took place in the area in front of It's a Small World, what they call Small World Mall. And remind you, there was no Mickey's Toontown yet, so this was as far back as you could go in the park. Again, the photos were while things were under construction, so you could see a truck there, and you'll see different things which would be out of place, but when it was all open, it was right up to Disneyland's high standards. As you passed through Small World Mall, to the left and the right were various buildings. They were small buildings. They weren't working buildings. They were just for photos and everything, but I wanted to show you some of them. Here's the Duckburg News, the Duck County School, the First National Bank of Duckburg. This was the first time that Disneyland had a cartoony land, or at least a temporary land. These buildings weren't intended to be realistic. They were intended to look flat and cartoony, and they were a great place for photos. Here's Goofy's Clip Joint, kind of a funny name for the barbershop. And there were various photo locations. Here's the character Tootsie. There was a little stairway up behind Tootsie, and you could stand there and get your photo taken. An interesting thing, when I worked on DuckTales, the original character's name was Trixie, but I remember we changed it because there was a Trixie that was a Triceratops in the old Gumby series, so Trixie became Tootsie. The characters were a big part of Afternoon Avenue and the Disney Afternoon Live event. It was the first time many of the TV animation characters were available to be seen in person. This was a photo location of a jail that you could go in, and I was really lucky to be able to have the characters go and pose for me in some of these places. I had to get a picture of Scrooge in front of the bank, it just seemed fitting. There was a checkerboard here, so I thought it would be fun to have Monty and Gadget playing checkers there. That's Fat Cat from Rescue Rangers in front of the Duckburg train depot. It's really the Fantasyland station of the Disneyland Railroad. It even had a new spiel with Baloo and Kid Cloudkicker from TaleSpin as you approached Afternoon Avenue.
Hey, we're coming up on Videopolis Station and Afternoon Avenue.
Come on, get the afternoon pass.
There's Don Carnage and Kit from TaleSpin, and they were real special to me because I had just come off of working on TaleSpin. One unique thing about the Afternoon Avenue is for the first time you were able to go under this bridge. There was nothing there for the guests to see before. That was backstage area. Although a few years earlier in Walt Disney World, guests could meet Mickey Mouse in his dressing room in Mickey's Birthday Land, this was the first time that Disneyland had an attraction themed around meeting a character. And here this was Baloo's dressing room. This is the entrance to the dressing rooms, but obviously still under construction. That poster is for a live stage show called Plane Crazy, and I'll show you pictures from that in a minute. But here's Baloo inside his dressing room, and here he is getting his makeup on for the show. By the way, if you're enjoying this, please subscribe to my channel. I would really appreciate it. There was a prop script, so I had Baloo lay back to look like he's reading that, and you can see there's a Plane Crazy contract attached to it. Plane Crazy took place over at the Videopolis Theatre. There was a quick service restaurant at the entrance of the theater which was called Yums, but it was rethemed to be called Louie's, based on Louie's nightclub from TaleSpin. So let me show you some of the photos I took of Plane Crazy. The show featured heroes and villains from TaleSpin, DuckTales, and Chip 'n Dale's Rescue Rangers. The storyline had the heroes trying to recover a spy plane that had been abducted by Don Carnage and Fat Cat. This production number took place at Louie's Tropical Nightclub. The whole show was a lavish musical with brand new songs that were created just for this show. You know, this area was originally the Videopolis Dance Club, and it was known as the Videopolis Stage when they started doing stage shows here. Eventually, they changed the name to the Fantasyland Theatre. Before that, most of the stage productions took place at a stage that was in Tomorrowland in front of Space Mountain. I took this picture a week after the Disney Afternoon Live event ended. Baloo's dressing room area was boarded up, and signage was placed there to let people know about something new that was coming called Mickey's Toontown.